Now that we know a little bit about what layers are and how they work, let's get our hands dirty. Let's get to work. In the next three movies, I want to provide you with a demo which will help you understand how to work with layers in three different ways. We'll start off by looking at how we can create a new blank layer and add content to it. There we'll explore how we can change layer opacity and also transform the content that we have in the layer. Then in the next movie, we'll take a look at how we can begin to work with type layers. In the third and final movie in this demo series, we'll explore how we can work with color and tone. All right, well, let's begin with this image we have here. A photograph I captured in Italy of this abandoned farmhouse, and I just thought it was so beautiful. And so with this image as our backdrop, let's say that we want to add something to what we have here. So we're going to create a new blank layer. To do that, we'll click on the icon right here for new layer. It's located in the bottom of the layers panel. When you click on that, you'll see that a layer shows up above your background layer. To rename this one, we'll double click the layer name, and I'm going to go ahead and just type in a new name there. I'll call this layer Italy. All right, well, currently the layer Italy has nothing in it. If we want to add something, we have a number of options. And just to keep the demo simple, what we're going to do is paint something on this layer. It won't look good, but it will be great in regards to helping us learn how all of this works. So I'll grab my brush tool. You can press the B key or just select the brush tool. Then up in the options bar, I've selected kind of a generic brush. You can choose your brush size and then the hardness or softness of the edge. So here I have a hard edge brush and it's size 83. Next, we want to choose a color for the brush. It doesn't really matter, but I'll select white here. You can always click on this color chip and then you can choose your color from this dialog. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and just click and drag in order to write out the word Italy. You can see how I'm doing that on top of my image. And in a sense, it's kind of like graffiti. But the great thing about this is that there weren't any pixels that were harmed in this effort. This isn't like real graffiti because I can turn it off. Just click on that eye icon that allows me to show or to hide the visibility of that layer. Now, speaking of having content on a layer, sometimes we may say, well, I like that, but I just want it a little less intense. Well, to change the intensity, we can dial back the opacity. Here, as we drag the slider to the left, the content becomes more and more transparent until it completely disappears. So opacity gives us that flexibility. Now, when it comes to having content like this with the word Italy, let's say that we've decided, well, it's just too big. We want this to be smaller. How can we transform this object or this thing or this adjustment that we've made? Well, it's really simple. You just select a layer, and you select a layer by clicking on it. You can see it will be highlighted as blue. So here I'm targeting or selecting the Italy layer. Next step, go to the Edit pull-down menu. And here we're looking for Free Transform. So we'll go ahead and choose Free Transform. This will show us an overlay graphic, and it's kind of reminiscent of the crop overlay graphic. And what you can do is you can grab on one of these corner points and click and drag. If you hold down the Shift key, it will maintain that aspect ratio. If you let go of the Shift key, it's a little bit more of a free-form transform. So you can transform it. Then to apply the transform, just like with the crop tool, you have a few options. Click on the check mark, press Enter or Return on your keyboard, or double-click inside of the area of the transformation. All right, well, we changed its size, but it's in the wrong spot. No biggie. Let's choose the Move tool. The shortcut key for that is the V key, or just click on the tool in the Tools panel. And here I can then click and drag and reposition this. When I get it up in this area, I realize it's still too big, so I'll go back to the Edit pull-down menu, choose Free Transform, and then hold down the Shift key, click and drag, double-click inside of that area to apply that, and here you can see we now have this little goofy text layer sitting on top of our image. And as I mentioned previously, the great thing about this is it's non-destructive. We can undo this by turning the visibility of this layer off because it's on its own independent layer. Well, let's say you get to a point where you're retouching a project or modifying its color or doing something really cool, and you decide, you know what, it isn't so cool. I don't really like it. I don't like the word Italy on my image. I think it's kind of ruining the project. What do you do? Well, if you want to trash or delete the layer, you have two options. You can either click on the layer and drag it down to the trash can icon, or click on the layer and simply click on the trash can icon. Either way, it will tell you that you can then delete the layer. It is now gone. Your original image is still intact, That layer just gave you the flexibility to test out or try that idea, which for us, we decided, hey, it didn't really work. We want to try something else out. We want to try to work with typography. So let's explore how we can do that in the next movie.